Next up, we have Woolworths, which is a combination of a food and clothing retailer targeting well-off customers. It recently acquired David Jones in Australia, has a market cap of 89 billion rand, a PE ratio of 20 and a dividend yield of 3.3%. So we brought Woolworths in here because if you go through their website, they've got amazing environmental, friendly practices. They've got a concept which they call farming for the future, which brought in Pharrell Williams, and that was all based on using less water, using less energy. Instead of bringing in pesticides, they actually go and put predator insects or geese to come in and eat the bugs that eat the plants.
Look, this is all, obviously this is the way of the future, and certainly in amongst our retailers, Woolworths seems to clearly have the advantage on this. But a lot of this, in my view, is actually PR, and there's nothing wrong with that because they are doing the right thing, but a lot of it is the whole soft, warm, fuzzy feeling about Woolworths that entices the Santon housewife to go and shop there. But that's business, that's fine.
But that works two ways, because they go and they make a difference, and at the same time they increase their PR. So
very much so, and that's clearly their policy to do that. And obviously more and more companies are going to do this because it just makes sense from a cost viewpoint.
So financially,
it's expensive now. When you look, and we're seeing this all over, consumers are moving to smaller houses, even moving out of houses into apartments because electricity rates and taxes, water, is just becoming so expensive here that it makes sense to actually to reuse water, to use so-called brown water or grey water rather than clear water, and reduce your electricity consumption. It does get your costs down, and you get a positive spin-off from it from a PR viewpoint.
Well, let's have a look at the graph there. As we see, it's done fairly well. If you followed your rights for the David Jones acquisition, you've well in the money. It has pulled back in recent days. It is obviously geared towards a South African consumer that's under a bit of pressure.
Look, they've got some headwinds coming up. It's personally my own personal view, but I think the rand might be stable to strengthening against the Aussie dollar, which is not good for David Jones. In their latest results, not everything is going well in Australia. A couple of problems there. But my biggest single concern is the SA consumer. The SA consumer is under intense pressure, and after the budget coming up in literally 24 hours, it's going to be under even more pressure. So it's not a reflection on the company, it's more a reflection on a very high PE and an expensive share. So I'm not hot on this one.
I'm going to remain hot on Woolworths. I think their client base is pretty resilient, even in these tough times.